Hello. Hello, everybody. Long time no see. I hope everybody is doing well. And welcome back to my channel. So, today I want to talk about the sound of freedom. Yes, I do. I want to talk about that. I would like to talk about it because no joke that is a big thing in the state of Ohio. As a resident of the state of Ohio, I can tell you that this is no joke, dude. That is no joke. And I'm going to show you how it's no joke. So, guys, I have not seen the movie. I don't have to see the movie to tell you that this is a real thing. But what I do want to share with you is one of my many experiences I've had. Now, when I was young, I was dumb and I was reckless and I did stupid stuff. And I had this habit of going out and being kind of reckless. Of course, it did not help that that I had a mother that put the cops on me. Like my mom put the cops on me naively because my family knew people in this town. And I have cousins in the police department, like, and in the city and things like that. And my mom had the cops on me. So no matter where I went, like if I was smoking weed and I was going to go buy weed, like they would get busted because they knew if they followed me, I would lead them right to them. And I was young and dumb and naive and I didn't know this stuff. But so because of this, I got so many traffic tickets, you all. It's unreal. And they would get me on stupid stuff. I had this one cop that would like just harass the shit out of me. Every time he seen me, he would get me. And one day he kept pulling me over for seatbelt, like stupid stuff. And I had my seatbelt on. And when he asked for my information, I had a Bonneville. I couldn't reach over to the glove box and get the information out without the seatbelt being in the way. So I moved it, and buckled it. And then he comes back and he's like, "Oh, now that's a seatbelt ticket too." Like this area is big on stuff like that. But aside from that, because of my stupidity, y'all, because of my stupidity, I would be in jail for dumb stuff, like a couple days here, a couple days there. And it would be like I didn't pay that seatbelt ticket, right? And so one of the times I was in there and I was waiting to see the judge and I was getting out, I wasn't staying. But this young girl come in. Now I'm 47. This was late. I was in my late 20s. I was about 27 then. This has been about 20 years ago, guys. 28. No, I was 32. I was 32. I'll tell you how I remember, okay, because my daughter was a teenager, like a young teenager. She was 20, 19 or 20 then. And I was in jail, and this young girl comes in, and we didn't know her story. Like, she wasn't talking to none of us. She wouldn't tell her story. Like, let me tell you guys, this is big. This is crazy shit, guys. So she's like, they keep taking her out. Detectives keep taking her out. I remember that. Now I'm trying to recall this, okay? So stick with me. And we're like, finally, after a couple of days of a couple of times a day, them taking her out and talking to her, we're like, what's your story, dude? What's up? And she was about 24 or 25, a couple of years older than my daughter was, right? And so she starts telling us little bits and stuff. And you could tell she had been abused. Oh, and she was so skinny. And we sat there for a few days with her. I was only in there like 3 or 4 days, but we watched her eat the house down. Like in those days, she starts telling us stuff. And finally, she gets to the part to where she's been sex trafficked. And we're like, what the heck? Like, we'd never heard of anything around this area about that. I live in southern Ohio, guys, where West Virginia and Kentucky meet. So this is a bad area because once they get us across state lines, like it's harder to get the others. You know what I'm talking about? It's easy. So when I found out that the Sound of Music had quoted Ohio statistics and talked about how Columbus, Ohio ranks three in the most children sex trafficked out of that area. And the state of Ohio is number 5. That's crazy, but believable. So the girl starts telling me that she got picked up when she was 16 years old. And she was out rebelling against her strict dad. And that she went to the wrong place and got drugs, to do drugs, to get high. She said she was tired of being accused of doing it, so she was going to go do it. And the wrong place, the wrong time, these people scooped her up, and out of state she went. She said she thought that they took her up towards Columbus, but whatever they gave her made her pass out. And so she was incoherent, and she actually ended up in Mexico. And she said that she ended up living there for a while and stuff. Well, they came back and they got her addicted to drugs so that she would do what they wanted. So when they came back to this area, she was like, at first I thought about running, but what was I going to do? I couldn't get any drugs anywhere else. So I did what they told me to do. And they had me recruit other girls. Yep. Sneak other girls in. So, and she said that weighed heavy on her, guys. So then she said she ended up, all of them, the lot of them, ended up going to jail for they ended up getting pulled over and had a little bit of drugs. They ended up going to jail, but it wasn't enough to keep him. It was like a little bit of marijuana or something, and it wasn't enough to mess him up, right? So he ended up getting out of jail like the next couple of days later, right? And they never went back to court. So she said when she come back through that time, she knew she had warrants, guys. And here she is, 25 years old, right? And she knew she had warrants when they came back this time. So she said when they went to the Taco Bell to eat, she said, I didn't care how high I was or how bad I'm going to detox. She said at this point, she's been in the game with them for about 4 or 5 years, and that she's watched girls detox and some of them die, man, and they just leave them on the sides of the roads. They don't care. They dispose of them any way they can. Shallow graves, you never see them again, dumped off in the mountains. Like, it's bad. And so, you know what? She said she knew she had warrants. So when they went to eat, they were in line, taking their orders, doing their orders. And she was sitting on the outside of the vehicle where she could, next to the door where she could escape. And she said she got out of that car and ran and was screaming for help, help, rape, 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 help. And someone in that Taco Bell line got her in the car and took off with her. And they took her to the police station because that's what she said. Take me to the police station. I have warrants and I know that they can help me from there. And she called her dad and hadn't talked to him in 5 years. And that was an emotional phone call because all of us girls were right there when she got the chance to talk to her dad on the phone. And that's when we believed her story. None of us believed any of it. None of us believed it. It was so like out there that we were like, nah, this chick is lying until the phone call. When she called her dad and she was like, Daddy, I'm sorry. Like we all bawled, like we all cried. Yeah, it was bad. I'm sorry I ran and I did this and I did that. And I'm going to do whatever time I have to do or whatever. She ended up with 18 months. Um, for she had some other charges on her because she's been around. Um, she had some shoplifting stuff in upper Ohio and things like that and in Kentucky. And they ended up combining it all and giving her 18 months and it was all rehab. Because she told him, I have to have some big charges. I have to have some help. And they didn't give her big charges. But she knew she needed rehab. And back then it was hard to get rehab unless you had a felony charge or unless you had hard big charges. See, so it's nuts. Um, in Lorain County, 2 weeks ago, there were 12 people arrested for sex trafficking. I'm sure some of them were minors. I don't know. I can't quote that, but it was sex trafficking. When you Google it, I did it on both Google and DuckDuckGo or Chrome and DuckDuckGo. You will find that there's so many cases in so many pages of cases. You end up like I I I was doing it late at night and I started to fall asleep. So, but I'm not well right now. That's why I haven't been doing many videos. These are my backup videos that you're getting right now. I'm gonna try hard to post a new video every day, but I have to get so many ahead, and so this is probably what you're watching. However, this is a good time to tell you guys I'm going to be doing the readings since I can't go live right now. And I'll explain some more about this in another video why. Uh, but since I cannot go live right now, I'll be doing the tarot readings by sign, and I'll be posting those up for us every month. So we got that. So let's get to some of the cases, guys. Okay, so right here. So when I was looking, when I put in cases, because I put in two different things, I did one search where it was human trafficking statistics, Ohio, and the other one was human trafficking cases, Ohio. And this is one of the big ones. It was, as you can see right here, published October 4th, 2021. 2021. Look at that. Largest human trafficking sting in Ohio history brings in 161 arrests. It says 10 of them were minors. That's awful. It's good that they're found, but it's awful that they had to go through that, and it's awful that this has been going on under our noses for years, and it's just now coming to the forefront of awareness. And so, this is a lot of what my channel is about is waking up. Waking up, coming out of our slumber or stupor. We I like how he says God's children are not for sale. And I want to advocate for the rainbow back. And there's a bunch of things I can say. And I can't count the times I've been, I don't know, shadow banned, as you would call it. because of my views and had videos taken down because of talking about chips and hands and DNA sequence and VAXs. And it's like, what is our world coming to? I didn't see very much of what Sovereign Soul. Sovereign Soul is another channel if you guys want to go check him out. I follow his stuff a lot. He's one of my local people. Um, well, he's another state away, but local people. And I like to support his channel. Go on over and check him out. Tell him I sent you. But he did his review on this. He's watched the movie and The Sound of Freedom, and there they say God's children are not for sale, and I totally agree. And I agree with his panel, um, Sovereign's panel, and I agree with those young men that would like to volunteer to help because I guarantee you they need some help. It's big, bigger than we can imagine. Now I know what I witnessed that girl's heartache going through and her dad was allowed to come and see her at the jail. That was really cool too. We were happy because you weren't allowed to have visitors come there. But her dad had money too. So I don't know, but money talks around there. You can pay the sheriff off or whatever, judge, get your way. That's how stuff works around here. Yeah. Hey, you know that thing about Jason Aldean's song, guys? I can't believe try that in a small town. So, anyways, it goes on to say 10 missing children were found and potential sex trafficking victims were also interviewed. For the third year, law enforcement around Ohio conducted a human trafficking sting, and this time it turned out to be the largest one in state history. Operation Ohio Knows. Republican Attorney General Dave Yost said 51 potential human trafficking victims were helped in and 161 men were arrested. That is big. In 17 communities, including Elyria City. Council member Mark Jesse, a firefighter, a teacher, and a professor. We actually arrested a pilot who makes over 200,000, but not only was purchasing sex, but he haggled and got the price down to 15. Wow. We also arrested a guy with a 2-year-old in the car, you said. Wow. So these are the people that they had arrested and some of the trafficking victims that they had talked about. Wow. So 161 men were arrested in 17 communities, including Elyria City. Councilman member met Mark Jesse, a firefighter, a teacher, and a professor. So there's our three that were arrested in trafficking, not the victims. Those three weren't the victims. Wow, we actually arrested a pilot too. So that's the other trafficker. We also arrested a guy with a 2-year-old in the car, so it's another trafficker. 3 men arrested were trying to buy sex from someone they thought was a minor. We want to make the point that you're not just going out here on a private thing between two consenting adults. You're taking a risk that that person is being trafficked. Yost said, yep. This is true. It's not just children in our area that are trafficked. Granted, I've seen statistics and it's a lot more of the children, and it makes me sick. But human trafficking is a bad thing in this area altogether. So, wow. Wow. So here's what I put: human trafficking cases. That was the one largest human trafficking case in history. That was 2021. Over 210 arrested. That's crazy to me, isn't it? Crazy. Also, it was 210 in Cleveland. Down there it says 161. So 210 people were arrested during a statewide human trafficking. Let's read that one because it has more people arrested. Why? Same date. What are they just trying to make it better? Are they? Okay, here's how it goes down. So 210 people were recently arrested in Ohio during a statewide human trafficking sting. Officials said 161 individuals were arrested for attempting to buy sex, while 50 were taken into custody for trying to sell services. Arrests in Northeast Ohio were made between September 24th and October 1st. Include in Portaga, Portage, Lorain, and Summit counties. Wow. I knew Lorain, Ohio. I didn't know Summit and Portage. Wow. And those are up around Cleveland. Jeez. And then the suspects were the firefighter, the council member, the
This is
teacher.
happening all over Ohio. Poor neighborhoods, rich neighborhoods, educated, uneducated.
Ohio's Attorney General laying down the law to stop a crime plaguing our community. As a result, more than 160 people were busted in a statewide anti-human trafficking sting. Investigators say they were looking to buy sex. RCA New York Alive in Portage County with those disturbing details. Sia.
Yes, Tiffany, it's called Operation Ohio Knows, and those arrested include a teacher, a professor, a firefighter, even an Elyria city councilman. Now take a look. Ohio Attorney General David Yost says that this was an effort and a partnership with more than 100 federal and local agencies coming together to fight human trafficking. There are some people arrested in this anti-human trafficking sting that lasted for about a week. During the operation, officers arrested people who were engaging in prostitution and confiscated guns, drugs, and other things. U.S. Marshals even recovered 10 missing children. Here's one woman who says an operation like this saved her life.
There was a lot of manipulation, mental torture, physical abuse, and the list goes on. But I was really, it was like Stockholm syndrome. I feel like I really believed that this is where I belonged and that's what it was. And then when the pain got great enough and I didn't know where to turn to, thank goodness the Columbus police in the area that I was in knew who I was.
Now, we brought you that entire press conference on our 19 News Now app, but you can catch it on our website as well.
Wow. Wow. So there you have it, folks. Yeah, The Sound of Freedom is definitely, this is my review. I don't have to watch the movie to tell you that I believe that everything in that movie is true. And I like the reviews I have watched, and I like the clips I have watched. And where he says God's children are not for sale, I totally agree. And I've talked about this for years. People didn't believe me. I talked about how Red Cross has, if you follow the money, it's actually people that abuse children that run it. Um, there's a lot of, you just got to follow the money, guys. If you do your research, you find out that the Amber Alert was created by a child molester. Just, I don't know. This world is crazy. It's really crazy. So, anyways, so hope you enjoy this. Be the reason someone believes in good people, and I will see you on the next one, guys.